That's a step in the right direction.
Hey everybody, sorry we're a little bit late. Some guy in the chat called it at 9:46. I mean, that was quite a while ago. Say we were late. I mean, come on, you didn't even know, bro. But he was smart because he was right. You know, what can I say? There's a lot to think about with this movie. Van Helsing, I thought it would be way more shallow than it was, but I think there's quite a bit of content we have to talk about here today, Luke, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
First off, how are you doing, my friend? Good to see you.
Pretty good.
Thanks for joining us.
Well,
Yeah, good to see you. Today's an interesting day. Checking out this old film from 2004. It's not just Luke and I, as always. You know, we have a wonderful panel of guests. Before I get into that, though, I just wanted to call to attention something new about the channel. I'm now opening memberships. If you're interested in supporting the channel, I have 2 different tiers, and I've been making a lot of really fun content every week to go on the memberships. I order a lot of Blu-rays, a lot of 4Ks. I also do a lot of different reveals of like different toys I get, my collections and such. So I also just have kind of a crazy nerd life. So if you'd like to see that and get a glimpse into that story, please be sure to check that out if you want. I appreciate your support. But if not, it's great having you on here nevertheless. Well, yeah, let's not waste any time. Let's talk about Van Helsing with our incredible panel. It's a true pleasure to be joined by a lot of our old friends, starting with Kyle Corwith, and then particular critic X Ty, and back from the dead, Gen X Man. How's it going, guys? Good to see you all.
Doing good, man. Thank you.
good to be here.
Thanks for having us.
Particular
Cheers.
critic is back from his nearly 8-hour Goosebumps launch with me. How you feeling?
It took a while to recover from that, but overall, we tried something, and I think that it worked out. It worked out pretty well, and if all else failed, at least I got to rewatch all of the Goosebumps episodes again, and that was a real joy for me. So
yeah, it was a lot of fun. And be sure, if you guys haven't checked out Particular Critic's first video, he dropped his very first video on his channel. Links in the bio to support
if you guys
him.
have any interest in the Batman 2004, I would highly recommend that you guys go check out that video. It's not very long. It's about 6 minutes long. It's just a good comprehensive review of the series in general.
Yeah, so this movie, talking about Van Helsing, this was a film that I have not known about at all forever. Like this never really crossed my mind for a single second. I was at a toy show, which I had a booth. I had a booth at the Great Ohio Toy Show, and what piqued my curiosity regarding Van Helsing as a title was I saw this really sweet toy of Frankenstein, and he looked so weird. It was such a strange item that I couldn't get it out of my head for the longest time. And then Kyle and I were talking about different movies we were thinking about discussing, and I was at a really cool secondhand sale DVD shop the other day, and I saw Van Helsing on the shelf, and I picked it up, and I asked Kyle, "You want to talk about this?" And he said yes. He said he wanted to hear my thoughts on this because this was a film he grew up watching, it sounds like. So pretty excited to hear his commentary on that. But just in case you guys aren't too familiar with what this movie is, it's definitely not a sleeper. You know, it's kind of funny. It's sort of like a Halloween equivalent of like an MCU CGI fest nowadays. But I think in a much better way, though. I like this. I like the direction that this film took way more than I like the direction of where the MCU has gone the last 5 years. But just briefly discussing the story, we follow Hugh Jackman. He is Gabriel Van Helsing, and he's on a mission to travel to Transylvania. He was sent by the Vatican to help this lady. She's Anna Valerious and her brother. He's sent to help them destroy Count Dracula. And for whatever reason, Count Dracula has some sort of curse on the Valerious family name. So he's there to stop Dracula from plaguing that family, as well as the continued disaster that was going to ensue based on his plans that you learn about throughout the movie. Dracula isn't just hanging around here. He's got some devious ideas to tear the world apart, of course. So we're following Van Helsing and Anna Valerious's tale of bringing his end to effect. So it's very interesting, start to finish. Like I said, real CGI fest, but it's a lot of fun. My gosh. This movie, it has really bad ratings. I think it's like early 20% on Rotten Tomatoes. And I really don't care much about Rotten Tomatoes, but if it's ever that low, I kind of raise concerns. I understand the criticisms but I want to know what you guys think, because a few of you watched this for the very first time. Before we get to your commentary, Kyle, what did you guys think seeing this for the first time? Because Luke, I think this was your first time watching it. Ty, you two, Gen X, have you seen this before?
Yeah, I think I saw it around the time it was first released.
Nice. Well, what do you guys think? Watching it first time, out of theater experience.
I thought it was quite nice for 2004. The effects, the CGI, even the practical effects, which Frankenstein had. Were those practical effects?
Yeah,
on Frankenstein.
A little bit, yeah.
Frankenstein's monster, at least. But
yes.
I like to bounce off of who was that? Blue Collar. Yes, it was a bit, or was that who? Oh no, sorry, Practify. He was a bit dramatic. You know, you didn't really get much of a break from Dracula's army, but it was quite interesting. I mean, it was fun to watch. A lot of fun. It was almost goofy to me, like a lot of the scenes, but it's never a dull moment. So I give it.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, great pacing from start to finish. I give it that much credit for sure. What do you think, Ty?
Yeah, I really enjoyed this film. I mean, it's very uncommon for me to have seen a film for the first time when we're at movie night. Usually I've seen it before, or I have some sort of information or context of what the film is about. But in this case, I really walked into it completely like just bare. I had no idea. And also, I watched Hotel Transylvania 3, the animated movie, with my students in the earlier part of the week. And it could not have been a better time because that movie is so goofy. And like, obviously it's a children's movie, but it has some of these same characters and same ideals that we've seen in Van Helsing. But for Van Helsing, I was really able to see this like vampire and like medieval like stuff. Like I was able to see it in kind of a different perspective than I have in like past movies in general. I really liked it. I thought it was great.
Yeah, I think it's definitely like a unique retelling of kind of classic monster stories, right? Especially with Van Helsing's character. He kind of tears apart a lot of the norms of those old Universal monster stories. So.
I loved seeing Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. That was a great opening scene, and like I've followed that story for a long time because it's just so enticing and interesting. So I loved seeing that on like a live action movie. It was great.
Yeah, I definitely want to talk about that more later because that's one of the highlights of the whole film for me. And it's funny how they just hit you with that right off the bat. And it really establishes like the scale of what this movie is going to offer you right off the bat, because this is a big movie. I want to know, I wish I had time to look at the budget before I started here, because this looked expensive. I mean, when I say this is like some big MCU film, I thought that's a fair statement. This is a huge movie. I cannot think of a film, a Halloween movie, because this is definitely a Halloween movie. I can't think of a Halloween movie that is like such an action thriller like this one is. And the scale of it too. It's so strange. There's not a single one that comes to mind. So that really stands out for that reason. And I think it's like, it makes you wonder, like, it makes me wonder how serious they were taking themselves here, because
$160 million. Seriously.
Wow. Okay. Wow. So that's back in 2004 too, right? So like adjust that.
Yes. That's a lot of money.
That's like in the billions nowadays.
Well, that's probably like
not that far, but it's in the range of 250, 300 million.
That's crazy. Yeah. That's a big gamble early on. I don't remember it actually being a success. Do you know if it did all right, Kyle?
I don't know the box office returns for it.
Yeah. You want to look at that real quick?
I know that it underperformed and it wasn't as successful as they wanted it to be because the writer and director, Stephen Sommers, who I still think is an underrated director, who kind of basically after this film kind of disappeared and didn't make any big budget movies anymore after this. So keep in context the $160 million budget. Domestically, it only grossed, according to Box Office Mojo, 120 million, and internationally 180. I just rounded that number. So we're looking at a total of 300 million. So when you add in marketing costs, the thing barely, it
Well, it lost
broke
money,
even.
yeah.
It lost money.
That's sad. I guess I could see if this had done well, it seemed like it had franchise potential. I could see them trying to do that. Or like, why else would they want to invest so much in this entrance into this character? Because I thought by the end of the movie, we were not done with Van Helsing. I thought this was just the first step in his story for us to enjoy, or maybe a prequel. I could have seen that possibly, an earlier chapter in his story as well, because I didn't catch how old he was. But I believe he's like really old, isn't he? Van Helsing.
Yeah, this is the implication. There is a thought to think that he's reincarnated. There's that possibility that they're playing around with.
That's what we were talking about while we were watching the show, is that there's probably a big possibility that he's like a reincarnation of a previous Van Helsing in the past.
But it would have to imply, well, there are two aspects to it, because you have in the middle of the film, Dracula does a monologue about how he knows him. It could be him reading his soul, not necessarily how he looks, if there's a recognized face there. Or is it a situation where was he reincarnated in a body that is the same? Now that brings up aspects and questions of, well, genetically speaking, he, different parents, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so...
Glad you said that.
Was
Was like
there
a
some
question.
sort of reference made to him being present during the fall of Jerusalem?
Wow.
Yeah, 79 AD is a date that is referenced. He's having dreams. Van Helsing is having dreams that he mentions to his sort of underling assistant.
So that would indicate he's very old or had past lives reaching way back.
Yeah, because otherwise we're dealing with someone who is like Wolverine.
Right.
Oh,
Wolverine.
Parallel there. Oh,
He's
Who
definitely
plays
got that.
Wolverine?
Ooh,
good question.
Making ties, Ty, nice. Well, Kyle, so you were pretty excited to talk about this, in our conversations before. So what did you think about the movie? Tell us your history with this, because you seem particularly passionate about it.
I suppose okay. Yeah, I am. It came out when I was about 14 years old. And me being a huge fan of action adventure films, especially the one that Stephen Sommers did with 1999's The Mummy, and the second film that came out, The Mummy Returns, in 2001. Now, the second film doesn't hold up as well, but the first one he did it holds up so well. It's an amazing movie to rival Indiana Jones. It really is that great. Previous films that he's done is a live action adaptation of Jungle Book in 1995, I believe, or 94. That's a great adaptation as well that he did. I think he's very talented when it comes to action adventure films. He's not trying to do something that's really deep at all. He just wants to create fun, creative, and charming movies that it's a ride. And he did it mostly with this, but there are a couple exceptions in the film that just come across unintentionally funny. Some of the effects don't really hold up, but this is one of the notes I had. In comparison now to today's effects, these actually hold up better because of how bad CGI has dropped down in quality for various reasons.
Yeah.
But I remember at the time disparaging it, and some of my family members like, "Oh, that looks so cheesy," and blah blah blah. But I don't know. Some of these Marvel films can't even hold a candle to some of this stuff.
Or Flash. It looks a lot like Flash.
I was thinking about how bad the Flash effects were. Oh, it's
They're pretty close here almost, and it's 20-year difference. That's crazy. I mean, you also had the Lord of the Rings movies coming out at the same time, and I mean, geez, those are phenomenal. So I imagine, you pull ties there. It's like
and there are aspects to this movie where the art direction and production design are detailed in a way that reminded me of Lord of the Rings. So there are some very talented people that worked on this movie. That really created the atmosphere and the castles, the village, etc. It looks really good in terms of that. It looks very layered and detailed.
Yeah, that definitely overruled the CGI aspect of it, and
Yeah, it was immersive. You just got sucked right into the settings there. I think the world building was incredible. I also thought about that strangely too, and I was trying to figure out why I thought I felt like I was in the world of Lord of the Rings, and I think it came down to like these sets and these environments. It was convincing, right? It was convincing. You felt like you were in these places, and they felt real. And that's pretty special if you're able to capture that. And I'm glad you mentioned that. It's sort of like, I don't know if shallow is exactly the right word, but it's like, it's not a deep movie, themes wise, but there's a lot of story that happens, but it's not really deep. It's sort of surface level story. These characters, there's not really that much character to them. They're pretty, I don't know, they're not hollow, but what you see is what they are from start to finish. And I guess it's easy to latch on to characters like that. Before we move on, let me just get to the chat real quick and say hi to everybody. Thank you all for joining us. Yep, it was Domical that caught us. Yes, we're late. Thanks, man. Good to see you, Proctophile. Thanks for being here, buddy.
Hey,
appreciate you. We're doing good. Good to see you, man. Wilkie's here. What's up, Wilkie? Member. Hey, all.
I was just with Corey on the previous stream.
Oh, nice.
We love Wilkie in this house. I told Wilkie, I sent him a message on X. He always has YouTubers on his channel to talk and interview them. And I said, I want to do an interview of him on his channel because all his viewers, I don't know why they wouldn't want to hear his story. I want to hear it. So if you hear me, Wilkie, you're still here. I'm interested in interviewing you on your channel so they can hear more about your story because I think there's a lot of good stories to tell there.
You guys should reciprocate that. You do a story on his channel.
And he already did that. Well, he already did that. I already talked.
Did he already did that? Oh my God,
it was cool. Yeah, it was awesome. Blue Collar Loser. Good to see you, buddy. I don't know why you have all those random numbers there. I don't remember that. I remember seeing this in theaters, Jackson. I don't care. I like this movie. It's not a great film, but it's just fun. Also, the werewolf transformation is badass. Just a popcorn good time movie. Yeah, man. And, I think it's beyond just a popcorn movie. When I think of a popcorn movie, I think of, mindless Jurassic World or Godzilla X Kong, right? So I think this is a little above that. Look who's here. Megan the Texan. Hello.
Good
to see you.
Good to see you again.
She's familiar. Daybit97. I think he did G.I. Joe. Okay, you're probably talking to somebody else, but good to see you, man. Thanks for coming on here. Let's see. Cool. Great. Awesome. Well, let's move on to the first chapter of the story here. We have the introduction. This was a great just setting the base for the movie. We start off in black and white here, and it's a glimpse into the past where we see Dr. Frankenstein at work. He has successfully, he's about to successfully bring life to his monster, the Frankenstein's monster. And it's revealed in this sequence. It's a short sequence, but it's revealed that Dracula, he's in the picture, and he's been secretly funding the project, or he's been an instrumental hand in making this Frankenstein monster a reality. And, right off the bat, you ponder, like, why is he paying Victor Frankenstein to make the monster, right? What is the purpose of that? By the end of the movie, I think I understand, but I still don't particularly fully grasp the concept. I think we'll maybe get to that towards the end because it's a little spoiler filled. But, right off the bat, you're kind of, there's a few questions raised here, and it makes for an interesting introduction. It had me wondering right off the bat. And you also wonder throughout the movie where Frankenstein is, because he doesn't show up until about 2/3 through the movie. And during this introductory scene, Dracula kills the Dr. Frankenstein, or does he kill him? I can't remember.
He incapacitate. It's kind of ambiguous what happens to him.
He gets knocked out or something.
Yeah, he gets. I think he dies, but we see the whole scene with Frankenstein's monster picking him up and bringing him over to the windmill and all that kind of stuff. It kind of
he definitely died when that windmill
collapsed.
Of course.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So what happened there was this was an interesting part of the movie. Was they were in they're in like this fancy castle or this, old Gothic building, and they escaped because there was a bunch of like hundreds. There's probably like 6,000 villagers trying to kill Frankenstein and the monster. They're all waiting outside the place, and they chase Frankenstein monster. He's holding Victor in his arms, and they chase him all the way up to the windmill, and just hundreds of them are outside the windmill. And they torch the place, and poor Victor Frankenstein they collapse into the ground, and we don't see them, or we don't see the monster until much later. So I'm kind of wondering what you guys thought of this sequence, this introductory sequence. Do you think that this was like an intriguing entrance for the story? How do you feel about this? Because I loved this. This was a lot of fun right off the bat, and I thought it set some interesting expectations that I don't exactly think were completely fully realized. I think we were. It gave us a lot here, and I think the tone changes a little bit. And I was a little disappointed by that, but at the end of the day, it was pretty fun. So, what do you guys think?
Well, I'll make an opening comment here. First of all, I thought it worked really well in black and white, because it kind of gave you that classic monster movie vibe, which is I'm sure what their intention was. And then it also really introduced the background scenery, and the mastery of the background scenery, which I thought was one of the great strengths of the movie. Was they obviously had built some real world sets that they relied on throughout the movie, and maybe we saw the same places multiple times. I don't remember, but that stood out to me in the opening sequence was just how good everything looked, particularly in the background.
Yeah, right. Like the world building just right off the bat. I wasn't expecting that. I did not think this was going to be such an expansive world, and here we are. It was pretty cool. What about you guys?
You can see the love that Stephen Sommers has by choosing to make the opening in black and white. To bounce off what you said, Gen X-Men, you really see that they didn't have to do that. And I love how the movie opens with the Universal logo that turns into a torch. It just the Universal logo gets set on fire and then turns into a torch somebody is holding, carrying, and walking towards the mansion. Yeah, it's great, and you can tell that Stephen Sommers wanted to do something a little different, and he's also a fan of these monsters. I mean, the Mummy that he did is related to all this stuff, So he was kind of carrying the torch with what he first did to try and do something more expansive. And essentially, I think he was trying to create a franchise with this. And we could have had, Hugh Jackman in the X-Men universe and then the Van Helsing universe, the monster universe. Yeah.
It would have been cool to see him interact with different Halloween monsters too, if you had an extension in this.
I think he's really great in this role, actually, and he's one of the best actors that really is entertaining to watch him get angry and shout. Yeah. He's one of the best actors to do that. Yeah,
I know.
He has a great voice for it.
He's such a man's man. I think I thought this would be the movie. This would be the very first movie where I have not either liked him in something or liked the movie he was in. Nope. I loved it. He's awesome. Everything I've seen him in, he's great. He's always great. And he's always cool. Every single movie, even Greatest Showman, he's cool. Somehow him singing, dancing in a funny kind of girly outfit is cool. He makes it cool. And here we are here, and he wears another kind of ridiculous outfit with a top hat, and he's firing an automatic crossbow, and he makes it look cool. And that's pretty special. I don't think anybody could have done this. And I think his performance kind of brings a bit of legitimacy to this world. Him, the way his competency as an actor and his convincibility, making it all seem so real and effortless, the abilities he has. I think it convinces us as an audience to take this more seriously because of him. If it was somebody else, I don't think it would have been the same. Especially the angry aspects of it too, Kyle, because you're right. I love it when Hugh Jackman gets crazy. And, later towards the end of the movie, we see a different side of him, which I think is pretty much a perfect segue into a pretty, expected evolution of the character. Somehow I didn't think I'm glad we saw him turn into that, because if any actor would have that appearance, it would be him, right? It's just made for him. But did this like entrance, did it set up any red flags for you? Because it did. It set up one red flag for me right off the bat that I was a little concerned about, and unfortunately, the red flag played throughout the movie. Do you guys notice anything, or was it just me?
Was the red flag at the beginning?
Uh-huh. It was small.
Character-wise?
Uh-huh.
With Hugh Jackman?
No.
Hmm.
I'll just say it.
Yeah.
Dracula.
Oh no.
Dracula. That's all I gotta say. Dracula.
You mean that actor?
Yeah.
The actor in general.
Interesting.
Yeah.
He was
interesting.
straight off the bat, I think he has the look. Does he have the voice? I guess.
Mm-mm. He does not have the voice.
He doesn't have the voice. No.
No.
He's not intimidating at all. He's prissy, and I think it's hard to take him seriously the whole time. This actor, at first I was wondering if at first I thought this was Jason Isaacs, because he kind of looked like him, and for the brief moment he sounded like him. And then, very quickly I woke up and realized this is not Jason Isaacs. This is far from it. He should have been in this position. It wasn't him. And I was hoping that his character would become a threat to like us. Like, I wanted to be scared of him because he is like seriously a problem throughout the whole movie. I mean, this guy is planning to damn the earth, pretty serious stuff. And I couldn't take him seriously for a single moment he was on screen.
Absolutely. In fact, that was like one thought I had to get out early on in our discussion was that was the worst Dracula performance I think I've ever seen. I can't think of anyone worse than this one.
Yeah, it was really bad compared to like Nosferatu. Even like Nosferatu, like in the like that came out in like the 1940s or the 1950s,
20s.
Even that depiction of Dracula is so much better than what we got in this movie, and I really feel like that was the only factor of this movie that really it really pulled away from my like interest and like of this movie. He really felt like a exaggerated Shakespeare character. Like he really wasn't like, I'll admit his full like Dracula like form, like when he turned into the Dracula and he turned into the like his bat form, looked great.
That was cool.
Everything else, he looks like a little crybaby who like follows theater, and like that was really like a total turnoff, and I was really disappointed. Like they could have casted anybody else and they would have been a lot more intimidating, but this guy is so far from intimidating.
Kyle, I feel like we have completely different opinions here.
Well, yeah, it looks like you're into Dracula, Kyle. Are you going to defend him?
I'm not.
I think that he clearly knows what he's doing when he is going full on tongue-in-cheek operatic performance. It is contradictory in some certain aspects, especially in the moment when he says, his wives point out after one of the brides dies, "Have you no heart?" "No! I fear nothing. No anger, no joy." And then I think, well,
Shakespeare.
Wait, hold on. You're feeling a lot right now. You're delivering a lot right now when you're for these line readings. So it contradicts how it was written, but for some reason, I think the actor won over Stephen Sommers because I think it's in line with what Sommers was trying to do, which was create like a big budget B movie. And he didn't go so far into the operatic side with The Mummy. I mean, The Mummy is more straight in the line of Indiana Jones, where there are no flowery or colorful characters. I mean, there are a lot of individual characters that have their own aspects that are specific, but with this, and it's the only way you can kind of get away with it because it's in the folklore aspect of Dracula, and there have been many different adaptations on what Dracula is, and it makes sense that some people wouldn't like the Dracula that's this way, you know.
Well, I think, you know what, all these other characters play it straight. I don't think any of them really give a B movie performance necessarily.
Well, the
unlike
wives
this
are doing it
character.
too.
No,
The
yes,
wives
well,
are
they're
doing
part of
it
the problem
too.
as well. They are
Yeah.
part of the problem. And I guess, you know, maybe it's the vampire culture, as you say, you know, that's the point. But man, it did not translate well. At least for me. I'm surprised
Yeah.
you digged it, man. You're defending this guy.
I said there are aspects that I can poke at it where he's completely contradicting his own lines with the dialogue by saying he doesn't feel anything, and yet he is so operatic in this performance. But I think there's just an entertaining aspect to it for me, and I remember some of the line deliveries that he gives. I think they're pretty good in the intention of what he's trying to do, you know. Yeah.
Have you
when he says that to Frankenstein, Dr. Frankenstein, he said, "I gave you my mansion to use for your experiments. Yeah, you believed in me, right? Oh, I do, but now they must be used for my purpose." Like, it's that type of stuff.
You sound better than he did. Just saying. We could cast you. Maybe you would be better if you were cast as this. I'd like that. Would you like that?
It wasn't that bad.
Oh,
I'm with Kyle here.
Well, Luke, I thought you were saying he was bad, just like everyone else.
No, I was saying I agree. I was saying you and I have the same opinion other than them.
Right.
No, his character. I mean, I feel he was purposely like humbling himself to being arrogant and cocky, because like he obviously in the end, you know what he can do. He was basically asserting his dominance on everybody else, showing like he's like, you and what army? He has his whole army. He's pretty much invincible, to our knowledge at this point in the movie. He's doing all this on purpose, and that's why I enjoyed his character.
Yeah, he is over the top. And it really, you really see a divide with audiences when it comes to if you like this over the top B movie nature, or you want something more straight, like how movies and Dracula films and monster films are being very self-serious these days. This is at a time when we weren't taking ourselves as serious as we do now. Not every movie today has to be A24.
Yeah, true. Good point. Real quick, let me get to some of these chats. Zippy Dismally FreeTube. There's no problem with campy B movies. It is what it is. Enjoy the silliness till it goes to hard cringe. Yeah, well, that was the problem. These guys were just straight cringe to me. I was cringed out watching them. I guess I didn't see the eloquence in the performance like you guys did, but I'm glad you did. That makes it more enjoyable for you guys. Megan the Texan, do you guys think there were too many monsters in this movie? We're going to get to that later. I want to save that till the end because I don't want to spoil all the monsters right off the bat because there's so many fun ones along the way we're going to get to. So just wait till the end, Megan. We'll get to that question. And then Horwit Nads, good to see you. Member, thank you for joining. Appreciated that. Van Helsing is a 10 out of 10. Wow, she loves this one.
Dude, how is Nads not here? Oh,
I know. Nads, 10 out of 10. That's a big statement. I would not give it a 10 out of 10. I don't know. I don't know anybody that would give this a 10 out of 10. But, you know, you're the first.
Give Hugh's
for
performance
everything.
10 out of 10.
It's fun. It's a lot of fun. And yeah, he's a 10 out of 10 this. He's awesome. Here, let's move on to the next part of the story because this is just the entrance. I mean, we have a lot more to discover here. Now, let's talk about the entrance of Van Helsing himself. This is a pretty cool first encounter we have here. We meet Hugh Jackman's Van Helsing. It's 1 year later. It looks like it's a lot later because, you know, first we're in the black and white world, and 1 year later, here we are, we're in color. That was a little confusing. I thought this was way later, but no. Yeah,
so did I.
Yeah,
I mean, I've seen it before.
Right?
I thought that we were going to flash forward about 30 years or something.
Nope. Just next year. And a lot's about to happen here. Van Helsing, he gets his mission to save the Valerious family from Count Dracula. So he's soon to do that. But before he charts off in his course with the friar who he meets, who is a very strange character throughout the whole movie. You might know him better as Faramir from Lord of the Rings. He's in this. Very strange.
Very different performance.
Very different performance. Definitely not nearly as cool as Faramir or honorable or memorable. But we get a great showcase of the director's talent with crafting just awesome monsters with this first appearance here, the entrance of Dr. Hyde. I don't really know much about this character. I've heard the name a million times. And Van Helsing, he, we see in this interaction that, he's a monster hunter of sorts, right? And he's dealing with Mr. Hyde. He's, obviously an evil character. And this was an awesome entrance for Van Helsing's character. We get to see so much showcased here. We see his strength, his competency, his confidence. His confidence as a not as only as a leading man, but as a warrior. He's a real warrior in this, and he's clever and he's tricksy, and he has a lot of tools in his belt, a lot of really strange tools. And like I said earlier, a lot of his weapons and gadgets are really ridiculous, but he makes them look cool, and you feel like it's convincing. You feel like it's real. So kudos to him for that. But what did you guys think of this intro of Dr. Hyde, or Mr. Hyde, whatever you want to call him? Ty, I know you mentioned him earlier. Do you want to get into this cool interaction we had between Van Helsing and Dr. Hyde?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, of course, like I said, this is the first time that I've ever seen this movie. So I don't really had no knowledge about this character in this movie beforehand. But in general, I've been very interested in the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde story, because it goes back very, very far. And basically, the idea of the story is that this scientist who's kind of like out of his mind, like bonkers, kind of crazy, decides to create this like serum / formula, which turns him into this monstrous character that really doesn't have a conscience. It doesn't have morals. It doesn't have any of those kind of things. But in the previous iterations that I've seen of Dr. Jekyll, he's very small. He's this small green character who's a lot more devious and cynical. Mm-hmm. Whereas in this movie, we see Dr. Jekyll as this like huge character, and it's really a great iteration and a difference it's a great difference than I've ever seen. And I really liked it, especially seeing this movie for the first time. I was like, oh, cool. Like they're actually adding this character into this movie, even though we only see him for maybe 2 or 3 minutes. It's still just as important.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, I don't mind that he doesn't look perfect. He doesn't need to look perfect. He looked good enough, and it was cool. I think there is a charm to like old CGI effects, and obviously back then it wasn't like old, clearly. But yeah, I loved this sequence. It stood out to me. I thought this is my favorite monster he encounters throughout the whole time. So cool. You liked him, Jedi Spade?
Yeah, I was gonna say. If I think back to what I remembered about the movie from watching it, this was one of 3 things I remembered was Mr. Hyde, and just his massive muscular frame, and he's pretty terrifying. And yeah, my favorite monster, and to me, he seemed like the most threatening one of them that he faced in all of the movies.
Yeah.
Obviously, he wasn't the most menacing because he was defeated pretty quickly by Van Helsing, and as a result, we didn't see him later in the movie, unfortunately.
I think I was surprised, like right off the bat, like in this encounter, how violent this movie is set out to be. It's a really violent movie. I mean, it's action packed. Horror movies are not this action packed. Halloween movies are not this action packed, and it's like it's borderline kind of kiddie teen. It's not really an adult film necessarily. I think there's some aspects of that, but I don't know. It's such a strange mix of all these things. And I loved the pacing and the thrill of it. And I think like every single scene we get of Van Helsing and going through some violent exchange with a monster to come, it's just so exciting. And this is like, I think it's so silly, like creating some sort of tie to like modern filmmaking, like with the Marvel popcorn movies, right? But I think Marvel could learn a lot from this movie because it's fast paced and it's entertaining the whole time. It doesn't stop. It's not exhausting though, and I think what helps is like, we linger on a lot of these shots. It's like we're not panning over every 2 seconds, and it works. I think idiot TikTok brain, I think it could process this and be entertained. The modern audience, I think they could entertain this filmmaking, this style. So I think we need to, if we're going to kind of ditch a lot of the the traditional methods of storytelling through camera work, then at least look back to this as an example for the modern audience with their lower attention span. That's what I think.
That's a huge compliment you gave to the movie, to say that it moved quickly, because the movie is over 2 hours. So that's a big compliment to the movie right there.
Oh yeah, well yeah, it doesn't make you think that. I think it's because of the pacing, and I think it's broken up with all these really interesting action set pieces that really just suck you in, and you worry for these characters, because even though it's PG-13, I could kind of see this being R. It kind of looks like an R-rated
in the opening
film.
scene, dude, they go balls out with this because Van Helsing saws off Mr. Hyde's arm.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Right. And then at a later point in the fight sequence, he's falling off of Notre Dame and shoots his grappling gun, essentially.
Yeah.
And it goes right through the chest of Mr. Hyde.
Yeah.
And there's no blood. That's how they get away with it. But violently speaking, this is a violent scene.
That's one of the best shots. I loved that shot when he fires the grappling gun, or where it goes straight through
his belly.
It vaults like a mile on up there, and it just fires right through him like it was nothing.
It really feels like a Batman weapon.
Yeah.
It really feels like as exaggerated as we would see in like a Batman movie or a Batman cartoon, where it's just like, and we see it again at the end of towards the end of the movie when they're trying to like save themselves. He shoots that grappler probably
like a 2-mile stretch. It's so far,
and yet it just like snaps through that tree with no problem. And I think that's adding to what you said, that like these gadgets are totally goofy, but they still look cool.
Yeah, it's definitely inspired by Batman. It's a good point you bring up. Particular, definitely has his own utility belt, essentially his Van Helsing utility belt.
Yeah. Why don't we embrace like exaggeration like this, right? I mean, it's fun. Can't we have fun? Like, what's so...
We can, but you have to have the right director doing it. And Stephen Sommers is one of the directors that can do it. He does it in a gleeful way without going to a place where it makes you hate the movie. When I see these moments, I see somebody exercising joy. Even when they're schlocky and aren't necessarily genuine performances, talking about some of the actors, like the bride actresses, when they're laughing, their laughs are not convincing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a witch in a Halloween store, in a spirit Halloween store.
Animatronic type shit.
Right, but it's done from such a genuine place. It's not from some sleazy studio executive that wants... this guy really loves what he does, and it's a shame that he hasn't come back to make a movie of this kind again. The closest he's come is he made a film with Anton Yelchin called Odd Thomas.
I know Odd Thomas. That's still old. What was that, like 2010, 2011?
Something around there, because it was obviously before Anton Yelchin passed away. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. That was a sad story. Didn't he get his car ran over him? Didn't it?
Yeah.
That was a good movie. I remember that. I watched that when I was young. That was one I always remembered pretty well when I was young too.
You could see the parallels with Stephen Sommers because he directed that, and there's some elements that come over from Van Helsing into that.
I need to rewatch that one. Proctophile, good to see you, man. If you want to see a really cool version of Mr. Hyde, check out The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. It was Sean Connery's last film. Definitely worth watching. Oh, weird. Have you seen this with Kyle?
Yes, I have. It has Jekyll and Hyde in it. The difference with that is, and it's great that film did that. There are practical effects and a suit that the actor is actually wearing in League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. However, the film and its effects just don't hold up. It's a shame that Sean Connery's last film is that one. I've talked about in my videos when I had a sit down about Sean Connery. That's a specific video. It's available now, where I was talking with a friend, and I said how cool it would have been if Sean Connery had actually been Gandalf as it was initially planned, but he turned it down. If that was his last role before he passed away, that's a pretty epic way to go out. You know,
I don't want him as that. So that's
fair, and I don't deny that Ian McKellen was fantastic and perfect in that role. Just to make the point that League of Extraordinary Gentlemen was not the way for Connery to go out.
Yeah, that's a shame. Go out with a dud like that. Yeah, but moving on. So from here, of course, Van Helsing, he's going on his mission, and he finally meets the beautiful Kate Beckinsale. You might know her well from Scream or the Underworld films. I haven't seen the Underworld movies.
Wait.
No, not Scream. Click. Not Scream. I don't know why I said Scream. Is that what you're correcting me on? I'm tripping balls. I don't know why that came out of my mouth. Click.
I was like, I don't remember.
Movies. She's not in the Scream movies.
That ain't Nev Campbell. Although that is a thought. Hey, let's go down that road. That road of what if Nev Campbell was playing Anna?
Oh,
that would have been better.
That would have been better. Yes, I'm in. That's a good casting right there. I'm down. That would.
So I should have been casting director and played Dracula.
Yeah,
Got it.
It would have been way better. Let's go back in time, please. But yeah, so of course, once he gets to her, once he finally meets her, of course, it seems like they have some sort of bit of chemistry right off the bat, but it's kind of like, it's lingering. It takes a long time for that to build. So Hugh Jackman was very patient in this movie. But really, once he encounters her in the town of Assyria, action just unleashes right off the bat. He meets her brother, who is also, he's like half man, half werewolf. That becomes a problem later on. But a different conflict is approaching right here. Dracula's really strange vampire wives are coming after them. And they have a pretty intense exchange between these vampire wives and Van Helsing, the townsfolk, and Anna Valerious. And this is where we get to see sort of a mini showcase of her competency and her capabilities as a warrior herself. So I guess this is where we're introduced to these vampire wives, and they're very strange. They are not much like, the typical traditional vampire at all. And I guess I'm kind of curious what you guys think about this sequence. How did you feel about this interpretation of like vampires that these women were? We were talking about them a little bit because we were discussing how kind of ridiculous Dracula was, because the wives are very similar. They kind of act like the same way. But how do you guys feel about this scene and those that iteration of vampire characters?
Too much trouble from my master. Too much trouble.
Oh gosh!
Kyle, you did better than they did. I'm gonna give you that.
I'm just copying what she did, so I give compliments.
You still did it better.
You did better. Give him the Emmy. Give it to him.
No, I just thought the whole sequence was just drug out. It was very cringe. I don't know. They were like witches, like witch vampires, like.
Well, they were pretty cool early on when they were sort of terrorizing the villagers and flying around, and people were getting thrown through buildings. But I agree with you, Luke. After a while, it got pretty tiresome. Okay, they're back. They're flying around.
They're obnoxious. That's what they were. They were loud.
Initially, it was kind of interesting. I mean, it was clear that they did the bidding of Dracula, and he stayed back in the castle and did whatever he did all day. Can't imagine what, but they got tiresome very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I know it probably wouldn't have worked, but did they not try to shoot them in the head once?
Right.
Good point.
Well, they are aiming for Van Helsing
the heart.
The heart. Yeah. So
and they are like, I do want to I want to say that like they do fly pretty quick.
Yeah.
And so it feels pretty reasonable that Van Helsing he's not a sharpshooter.
No.
He doesn't have aimbot. Like,
I think this is his first time using his crossbow.
Yeah, exactly. Like at that point, like he's really not cultured in that crossbow. But for me, I really didn't get the idea of vampires from these women, and like when they were flying around and stuff. I really got more of an idea of like a siren.
Or banshee.
You know what? Yeah, like a banshee or a
I like
siren,
that.
more of just like a. It just felt a little bit off. Like, give them bat wings. Don't give them these like leathery, like human skin wings. Like it really. I feel like they kind of missed the bar. They could have really made these people look like actual vampires, and they did that. Like with, um, with like in the final act, like he's really like he looks great. Like his vampire, just like his vampire design and all that kind of stuff looks awesome.
Yeah,
So
maybe
why-
maybe what you're noticing particular is rudimentarily the color, because the wives are all white and
Right.
Dracula is black at the end, or grayish, I would say.
Grayish,
He's
yeah.
grayish. Yeah. So that's a fair criticism right there, actually. Yeah.
Well, and the ladies, as I'll call them, they look more ladylike. They look more feminine. They look more human. And the final
That's
final
true.
form of Dracula
Yeah.
was something entirely different.
Mm-hmm.
It might play into like their seductive nature, that they want to be sort of an attractive, like
Nice.
monstrosity.
I like
Yeah.
that.
You like that,
Yeah,
Kyle? We're
I
digging
do.
deep.
Wow.
We're digging deep.
I like that. They're supposed to be seductive. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And to be fair, with some criticism, most of basically all the wives are interchangeable. I mean, one is hotter than the other. Yada yada. Take your pick. Whichever body type you like. But one in particular, I don't know if it's this one. The one actress does stand out, who was I think the last survivor, and she has that scene with Kate Beckinsale on the roof in the rain. That is one of the best moments in the film, where she's monologuing, as many villains do in movies, when she's threatening to kill Kate Beckinsale, until eventually, suddenly, Kate Beckinsale grabs a stake and thrusts it through her chest, and she says, "If you're going to kill someone, just do it. Don't stand there talking about it." So that's a great moment, and that's a Stephen Sommers thing right there. That's him coming through. That's his script.
That's a fourth wall breaking, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Respect.
Great stuff.
Respect. I thought, I don't know, that felt a little cheap to me when she said that. It didn't really like hit, but I respect it. Still respect it. I think I like that we're mentioning how overplayed these girls are, because they really are. I mean, this was like Dracula's weapon right here. I mean, these things would not stop pestering us, and I thought it was a little annoying how evasive they really were, because I don't get it. If they're supposed to be vampires, they go through hell in this. I know they finally get defeated when Van Helsing fires, some bolts at one of them, and it's dipped in holy water. Like, that makes sense. But, I thought vampires died from stakes or like silver, right? Aren't both of those sort of like...
Which is what we've seen from pretty much every other vampire movie, TV show. You kill them with garlic, you kill them with silver, with stakes.
Yeah.
And in this case, he shoots them up like plenty of times. And they don't care. They're not affected.
They take it like it's nothing.
You know what I just realized? If the director had taken more of a scalpel to the film and cut a lot more sequences out that had them in it, I think the movie would be better.
Oh, yeah.
That's fair too. He also could have limited it to one wife, which would have made that one wife stand out more.
Yeah.
And then maybe the wife bride vampire could have had an underling human of her own, and you could have had a dynamic right there. But silver isn't in the mythology as something that kills vampires. That's for werewolves.
Oh, werewolves.
You're right.
Okay. Well,
You're
that makes
right.
sense. I guess stakes. I mean, I feel like...
Stakes, yes.
Yeah, but what Van
And
Helsing was
garlic.
shooting with his crossbow, those weren't really stakes. They were more like... They weren't even really bolts. They were almost arrows, because they had arrowheads. So maybe that didn't count. So I guess that would make sense. I don't know why his crossbow wouldn't be fashioned with stakes, or something that would be a stronger repellent to vampires. That would make sense. I mean, this is a pretty important mission. The crossbow should be fashioned with the proper ammunition. But yeah, okay, that makes a little bit more sense, realizing that. I think at the end of the day, I like what you said, Kyle. I like that it would have been a lot better if it was just one, because these women are not characters at all, and it's so easy to mix them up. because they look the same most of the time because there are these gray blobs. And they don't really look much different when they're in their human form too.
Yeah, there are two actresses that I got confused a few times as to which one was which, but yeah.
And they're important characters. I mean, we see them all the time.
But also with these characters, I noticed something throughout this movie. Like, they accepted defeat so quickly. Like, we don't need 3 of these. We need 1. Like it wasn't the opening scene, but like the first like climactic, like action-packed scene was them fighting in the Van Helsing had just met Anna and all that kind of stuff. He had just come to the village, and all of those vampires, quote unquote, come and attack them. One of those vampires gets destroyed by Van Helsing, and the other 2 just decide, oh, we're just gonna go all the way back. We're just gonna go all the way. We're just gonna retreat. And I thought that was like really like, it was weird. It was weird to me.
Maybe it was because he had access to the holy water, and I think they like sensed that one of them died, and that scared them away.
Which is something that I always thought that was going to be a question in my mind in terms of the hive mind aspect of how are they connected to each other, and then later on when it comes to Dracula's children, they don't go into that.
Are they feeling the pain of the other vampire that was killed? Like, is that like, it just felt kind of like, I don't know. It felt kind of ambiguous. Like, I would have liked a little bit more like detail and breakdown on exactly how they connected as like a hive mind, exactly like Kyle was saying. But like, yeah, that just felt a little bit weird to me.
And that's fair criticism.
It happened multiple times. It was not just one time.
It was a disturbance in the force.
Wow, it's that connected, huh?
There you go. Disturbance in the force.
That's how we'll explain it, because there are a lot of holes here, but I really don't care if there's holes in a movie. It's not that big of a deal, unless you hyper analyze it like we do. But that's just part of the conversation, right?
I'm nitpicking, man.
You're the particular critic. It's bound to happen.
It's for a reason, man.
Yeah. I think I could have respected their characters a little better if they just gave better performances as intimidating characters, because they are. I mean, these are threatening monsters. I mean, you saw them. I mean, I was thinking about when I was writing my notes, like, were they, what's the power level of these things? And they give Van Helsing and Kate Beckinsale a lot of problems in this. And they're quick, they're strong, they're evasive, they're hard to catch, and they're deceptive. I mean, these are a lot of pretty intriguing concepts. But I think if the performances would have just been better, I think we could have feared these characters. I think we could have went down that path, and I really wish we would have. But yeah, moving on.
I gotta say though, I'm surprised that you weren't distracted by their deep cleavage.
Oh gosh, Kyle. Well, we're gonna one of the
you're such a good guy.
One of the
cleavage was great. That was
Ty
the
noted.
best.
There you go. You could appreciate beauty.
I noted that multiple times, even when it was a little creepy.
There's one scene
I'm
that
just
gets
a man.
Well,
I'm just a man.
In fairness to all of you, they clearly wanted you to gaze upon their loveliness.
Of course. Yeah.
I can't resist. I'm sorry.
Well, it goes back to Stephen Sommers. He dabbles with this stuff and he knows what he's doing. In The Mummy, in the opening with Anax to the Moon, it has body paint on, and it's just body paint. And he got away with that with a PG-13, where she's topless, but it looks like she's wearing a dress, but it's just body paint.
This is one of those classic movie examples of this was made by a man, and it's made by a man.
And I love this man.
Yeah, yeah. There's some aspects of that to respect. I won't deny that. Something exciting is we finally get reintroduced to Frankenstein. It's, there are a lot of conveniences in this movie where characters stumble into something very important. I mean, they just kind of fall ass backwards into a lot of exceptional discoveries, and this was one of them. Kate Beckinsale, Anna, and Van Helsing, they literally fall into the ground into Frankenstein's like hiding space. He's been sort of like hiding out for a while. It turns out he reveals in the sequence that Dracula has been looking for him and that he is a vital component towards achieving this grand scheme that Dracula has. And that scheme is pretty weird. He has a kind of like an army of these eggs, which contain the spawn of his weird vampire babies that he's made with his multiple vampire wives.
Yeah, and we don't even know how the hell they achieve that. And they basically are egg sacs the size of a xenomorph egg. What was the process there?
Well,
how did these get planted on these?
Real quick, just to bring it back a little bit, it was such a great such a great character reintroduction, because in the opening scene, of course, we see Dr. Frankenstein and his monster, and they're on that windmill, and the windmill lights on fire and they collapse, and we really think is this the end? Like, is he gone? And then we get this great callback, and watching this for the first time, it took me a minute to realize that in the rain, in that debris that they were on the debris of this windmill. And I think that really adds to this movie. It really just adds a great callback. And that was something that really stuck with me throughout the entire film. Was in the beginning, I thought he was gone. I thought he was dead. I thought that was just the intro. And then he's not, and we see him again. And I really liked that. I really enjoyed that aspect.
Well, that totally went over my head. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, Van Helsing and Anna, they are in this. They're standing above this rubble, wooden rubble. I didn't even realize that. You're right. That was the lighthouse or whatever that was, the windmill from earlier. Yeah, and he's literally in the pit, and he's still in the pit. That's crazy.
I mean, he just fell all the way through.
Wow.
He just fell all the way through, and he's just been down there for forever, trying to keep himself alive, and just he probably has nobody. It's just it's such a perfect addition to this movie.
That's clever. I didn't think about that. I think you were the one that said it while we were watching it. This would make a great video game.
Oh, yeah.
And I totally agree. It would be so fun to go through these sequences. There probably is some old PlayStation 2 game, Van Helsing, right? I could see that.
They did the Castlevania games, and I think those were on PS2. And it's a very similar run through, but of course it's not this exact it's not this story exact, but I think Castlevania was a very good iteration or a good version of what we saw in this movie.
I'm going to throw a little mud here at the monster.
Oh, gosh.
Whenever he came onto the screen, I kept thinking of that character from Goonies that would say,
"Oh, no.
Hey, you guys!"
Oh,
that kept coming back to me.
That's literally him.
He really does look like that.
Sloth. So funny. Sloth. He was. Yeah, he's very sloth.
Yeah, this is one performance that I can do away with. The way that this actor performed in his voice, where he's delivering a lot of these lines in a very it's a kind of awkward way that he delivers things, and it reminded me, literally, it's almost a carryover from how the actor portrayed Frankenstein's monster, or in this case, young Frankenstein's monster in Young Frankenstein. You know,
we need to watch that one too.
Oh, that's a good one. I didn't think of that. Yeah,
I really feel like this Frankenstein iteration, and I'm not going to say the word because we're on YouTube. But he really feels like an R word. He's just not all the way there.
And are you trying to say retarded?
Yeah.
Nice.
Retarded.
Thanks, Kyle.
Thank you, Kyle.
Appreciate it.
I didn't want to
That's
say
great.
it, but now you did, so it's fine.
The floodgates have been opened.
He kind of looks a little bit retarded.
You're gonna get banned.
Well,
for
you
that.
know what's nice about this is Frankenstein, we see in the very beginning that there's like an inkling of like a good heart there. And that, because he's carrying Victor Frankenstein, his maker, and he's trying to save him. Like, that's very nice. I feel like that's something I haven't seen with Frankenstein's character before. That sort of compassion. And then you see it even further down here in this pit. I mean, he has a Bible down there too, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah.
He's reading the Bible, I imagine. He's probably pretty bored down there anyway. But I like the concept of Frankenstein as the good guy. I thought it was nice. It was different. I fell in love with him. Not in a actual romance way, thankfully. That'd be awful. But
I mean, I understood what you meant. Then you had to go there.
Yeah, I know. I was like, why did Jessica?
Oh gosh.
But it's a good point. I like that you brought that up about him reading the Bible for a year.
Yeah.
How he came across it. Maybe he's sneaking out of there at some point.
That might have been a stepping stone for him becoming a more compassionate character. I wonder about that because he cares about people in this. And I don't know why he would. He doesn't have any reason because, especially since you mentioned it, Ty, that he's probably been in this pit the whole time. We don't know if he's escaped or left. So the only human interaction he's had, I mean, very briefly with Victor Frankenstein, very briefly, and all of the pillagers who wanted him dead and killed his master. So very happy correlations here.
Like, he was birthed, like, in the opening scene, like, he, like, became alive. Like, he was able to, like, become alive because of Dr. Frankenstein. And, like, within that opening sequence, like, he's not alive for very long. And then out of nowhere, we just jump a year later. So he's been in this pit by himself for at least a year, if not more. Like, it really gives us a good retrospective on exactly how long he's been down there. And like, it's been a long time.
That's crazy.
And he's barely sentient. Like, he was birthed like 15 minutes before he was put down in this cave all by himself. Like, he's not like a fully developed person. He's a Frankenstein. Like, he's like kind of dumb, he's kind of brain dead, like all those kind of things. And he's been alive for like maybe an hour before he was put down in this pit all by himself. And like, I feel like that's really important to the like idea of this story and the character design in general.
Well, it's the way that it works is that Frankenstein was going to various graves and robbing body parts from them. That's one of the reasons, that was the main reason why the villagers were coming after him. And they mentioned that at the beginning. So the way that it works for this character, the Frankenstein monster, is that he's essentially a reanimated brain from a pre-existing brain. So it's not a new brain, right? So there are aspects to, and discussions you can go into, how does this work in terms of the way that I would see it is whoever occupied that brain has gone and left, that soul has gone and left, and then something else has gone in its place. All the information is stored there of basic language skills, ambulatory knowledge, etc. But everything else new is a new experience and a new life, as the movie implies. Completely fictional and not possible, but yeah, that's the idea, I think.
Well,
Proctophile has a good comment here. He says, in the book, Frankenstein's monster lives a very isolated life and often reread the Bible and Plutarch's biographies to himself.
Cool. Nice Proctophile. All-knowing Proctophile. He also Proctophile. I like this. I like this. Proctophile also mentioned there was a Van Helsing game on PS2, so I definitely saw that at some point, or else I don't know why I would make that correlation. Zippy, I'm just gonna call you Zippy. Zippy also says Helsing is kind of the best of Saturday morning cartoons in the early 90s. Even if many are better written, it has all the heart. Gosh, turn that down, Ty. We hear your beer bottles. We hear your beer
How
bottles.
many did you
What that
drink,
is.
man?
Well, oh man, he's in deep. All right, let's move on to the next part of the story. We're getting towards the final act here. Ty keeps mentioning how cool the Dracula looks in his final form. Quite a bit happens before we lead up to this point. Eventually Anna, she falls victim to Dracula's capture, and Van Helsing, he comes to the rescue to save her, of course. And he does so after a really rough encounter he has with Dracula. And before we move on to this final act, Anna's brother, her werewolf brother, he resurfaces, and he keeps trying to kill them. I mean, he's a serious threat. I mean, he's a nice guy when he's a human, but yeah, he keeps trying to kill the gang. And Van Helsing, he's had enough, and he finally kills her brother. And this is dismissed pretty quickly, which I thought was a little funny, but it makes sense. They have bigger fish to fry at this point. It was a little sad seeing that because the poor brother had been through so much. Dracula's an evil character for as ridiculous as he looks and acts. He's truly evil, and he was molding her brother into a weapon that he did not want to be. And it looked like it was a pretty brutal portrayal of that process of Dracula kind of transforming him. And it did not go well, of course. Van Helsing kills him. And in this interaction, Van Helsing gets bit, and now he is set to become a werewolf soon as well. I believe it's like the midnight of the next day, on a full moon, he will finally transform. And the time does eventually get there, and it comes in perfect timing. This is another one of the convenient moments in the film. He becomes a werewolf right when he needs to be, and another key twist, which is another convenience that the movie poses, is that there is the friar, who is, we haven't been talking about the friar at all here. He's more of a background character, but
That's me.
Yeah, that's you're the friar.
Like a comic relief.
That's me.
Ty is the friar. I don't have a picture of the friar, unfortunately, but the friar, he sort of stumbles into a truth, ass backwards. He falls into the truth, detailing that the way to defeat Dracula is through a werewolf. So here we are. Hugh Jackman is now a conduit of the properties of becoming a werewolf. And when he finally encounters Dracula at his castle, he has captured Frankenstein at this point, and he's using him as a battery to fuel his evil scheme of breathing life into his thousands of vampire spawn. And Hugh Jackman goes full on beast mode, turns into a werewolf on command. Perfect timing. Once he gets in the building, he also uses his pre-werewolf powers, like he's like kind of growing into the werewolf character, and he uses them to his advantage. He's able to get into the castle at the perfect timing because of all his powers. And he takes on Dracula while Anna and the friar, they ward off the vampire wife that's still left over as they try to work to steal the antidote that Dracula has to heal Van Helsing from his werewolf bondage. So it's all just perfect. Everything just kind of wraps up perfectly in this final act. All the holes are filled very conveniently. But at the end of the day, this is a really exciting final conflict that I think beautifully wraps up the story. It's a lot of fun, action-packed, it's thrilling, and it's great CGI action. Venom couldn't do it. This did it well. And it's very similar because it's literally CGI animal versus CGI animal just going at it. But here, it just feels way more real. So what did you guys take from this final conflict?
I wish there was more. I didn't really we got a little taste of it. Everything's happened super quick. It was a big CGI fight going on here that I actually enjoyed, and I'm sure we all enjoyed it. It was when we first saw the true form of Dracula. We saw a werewolf that actually looked amazing. Of course, Van Helsing, Hugh Jackman. But it ended with like a snap of a finger, in my opinion. You thought there was gonna be more, then it just ended, and it was a conclusion. I was like, oh man, I mean that's cool that he won, but kind of disappointing.
Yeah. I mean, I totally agree with you. Like, I really felt like the ending was I'm sorry. I really feel like the ending was it was just weak. Like, it really felt like the second that Van Helsing turned into that Wolfman, or the whatever he was,
Yeah, werewolf. Yeah.
werewolf, exactly. It was just over. Like, it was over.
Yeah, he
Like,
schooled Dracula.
No, he did. Even
yeah.
when Dracula was not even in his full like bat like Dracula form, like, he was scared. He was like backing up. He was trying to make like bonds and trying to make like stuff with him. It just felt so weak. Like, we know
He spanked him good.
He really did. But
Maybe
like,
less of the flying vampire ladies and more of the cool looking
actually after
Dracula.
Spanked him good.
What was his name? Was his name Chris?
Is everyone going to go down the line and say that? That phrase?
I don't know. Ever since they like flipped the special little like thing in the library, like, it really just felt like it was over. Do you know what I'm talking about? I'm trying to.
I don't know what you're talking about with the library. Are you talking about the?
Are you talking about the scene in the middle of the movie where Van Helsing uses Anna as bait?
No.
Okay.
Who was the prior or the
Friar?
Friar. Thank you so much. The friar. He finds this little flip. Like, he finds this idea. You know what? Fuck it.
No, keep going. I need to know that.
This is still good TV, man. It's okay.
We need to know.
Oh,
Don't leave us
out.
hanging,
That's
man.
all right. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes you go somewhere and you forget where you started. It's all good.
I totally lost my train of thought.
It's
Well,
fine.
but you're right. I mean, as soon as Dracula faces the Wolfman, it's over. I mean, in 5 minutes it's done, right? And a lot of build up to that scene, which is quite quick.
Oh.
Well, I want to talk about the scene in the library.
You mean the friars? Where he jumps
I'm giving
from
you
one
shit,
book to
man.
another?
You're good. You're good.
Oh.
Particular. You're good. You're fine.
Oh, you're good,
Oh.
man. You're good. I
Well-
think your Gen X man. You go.
No, I was just gonna say I don't know if this is what you're talking about, but yeah, the friar shows off his genius when he points at all these different books and other references and pieces together the story of everything that we've seen and experienced. And I thought it was a little discombobulated, but that was his big monologue, right? That finally Friar got a real speaking part there for a few minutes.
He finally did something useful for once. Yeah, like
Well,
a lot
no,
of the
he
time.
had all those weapons. I mean, yeah,
In the
he made those
beginning.
things too. Sure.
Yeah, and then he didn't really do anything the whole time. He just
He just kind of run around, and look scared.
he's chilling.
Yeah.
This is kind of out of his league. I respect that. I don't know. I thought I didn't think this fell flat for me. I quite enjoyed it. Maybe I just got like absorbed in the popcornness of it. I thought it was so satisfying seeing Hugh Jackman as a werewolf. I mean, come on, how have we
He's
not
now
seen that?
huge, Jackman.
There you go.
Huge.
Yeah, literally. But I mean,
Huge
yeah, he was awesome in this. I loved him as the werewolf. That was so fun. It just felt so earned, him becoming that. I'm surprised we haven't seen him as a werewolf since. I mean, if any actor is going to be a werewolf, it's him. He's just got that about him. He's got that dog, right? But yeah, I think like a funny convenience I noticed, which I thought was like really funny, was there's a scene where Frankenstein, he's being charged up, right? Or like lightning is striking him. He's attached to this technology, this piece of equipment that for whatever reason, when lightning strikes him, energy surges throughout the castle, which thus, wakes up all of the spawn, the vampire spawn. As you mentioned, Kyle, they're sort of, all of these like little baby, like bat vampire babies. They're in these xenomorph eggs that are dangling on the ceiling, just thousands of them all over the place. And for whatever reason, Frankenstein's essence wakes them up in a fashion where they'll actually survive for a long period of time, because previously when they had awoken by the commands of Dracula, they had a temporary lifespan, but here, for whatever reason, they have a normal lifespan. Very strange. I don't get that. That does not make any sense. I don't know why that tie would result in that sort of change there. I mean, it's totally unrelated to Dracula, so very strange. But when this happens, Frankenstein, he nearly falls to his death, and he's tumbling off the tower. And when he's tumbling off, he lands on these big cords. And of course, he's a heavy guy. When he's on the cord, they snap, and he's swinging. And while all this is happening, he's swinging right above this bridge, which is, thousands of feet below Frankenstein. And the friar is being chased by Igor.
Yeah.
Igor is, Dracula's evil assistant, who's been a real pain in the ass the whole movie. He's been a huge pain in the ass. We haven't even talked about him. And, right when he has some grace in this final segment, he quickly betrays the trust of the friar and Anna. But yeah, he's about to kill the friar. I mean, he's poking him with the electric poker, and Frankenstein, he lands in the perfect spot to swing on over, get Igor out of the way, swings right into him by accident. And then from there, he gets caught on the bridge, and he's just kind of dangling there. So the friar, he untangles him from the bridge. And then from there, he continues to swing, and he swings into the castle yet again. And he lands in the exact space where Anna is, and she's getting attacked by the vampire wives. It's like perfect. It's all so perfect. And I feel like there's countless examples of this movie where every character just lands right where they're supposed to, right where it's scripted. And I think it's like part of the charm, because it's like funny. And this whole movie is, I think it's not taking itself too seriously, but at the same time, it kind of takes you out of it, just how convenient everything really is.
Yeah. And that comes to the point of, you want to see characters that make intentional decisions and not see happenstance occur so much. That goes for every film.
Yeah.
So it's a fair criticism.
Yeah. What do you think, Kyle, of this ending?
That scene or the ending itself?
Like the ending, like the final sequence, all the action happening, the thrill.
I think it goes overboard when it comes to the CGI fest. That was a criticism that I remember listening to Roger Ebert talk about, and I agree with it. I don't know what else you would do in terms of practical effects. You're kind of caught in a hard space right there, where how do you achieve a fight between a werewolf and a giant vampire monster? So yeah, it's a big answer to fill in, and an accomplishment to pull off something that's going to please everybody. But the thing that I call bullshit on the most in this film is when Helsing's werewolf goes after he's defeated Dracula.
Mm-hmm.
Anna's coming up behind him to minister the antidote to bring him back to being human fully. And so he goes and tackles her. One question that comes to mind is, well, it seems as though he's been in control. Like he's still been Van Helsing inside this werewolf body, but he tackles her anyway. All right, let's look past that for a moment. Okay, maybe he was overcome with some rage. You know how Hugh Jackman can be. So he tackles her onto a daybed. When you look back at so many instances in this film, Anna, just in the opening scene where she's introduced, has so many tumbles and falls from very high heights, hits her head on stone, tree branches, all this stuff. The moment where she's tackled onto a daybed is what kills her.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the werewolf, he's probably like, I don't know, 1,000 pounds. I mean, he's a big boy. But at the same time, we don't see his like nails go into her or anything. I thought that was the classic example of, you think she's dead, but she's not. Because, I mean, it didn't really make sense that she died. But that's what happened.
Somehow.
Yeah, somehow she's dead. What were you saying, Ty?
Like, I think we were talking about this when we were watching the movie, like, this evening and whatnot. but it just really felt like a really cheap ending for her character in general. And like exactly like following off exactly what Kyle said, like she's gone through so much of these issues. She's fought many monsters and all this kind of stuff. And then she just gets tackled and she's
That's a good
dead.
point. Yeah.
I mean, like, yes, like maybe they snapped her neck or maybe like broke her spine or like there's a couple things that we could think about that would maybe like constitute that death. But like, really, like at the end of the day, it's just like, really? You died
No.
to that?
I like your suggestion about the snapping of the neck. That would make sense, but they don't show that where she's
Exactly.
lying down and her neck would be
It's
contorted in a
ambiguous.
way. They should have committed to that, because the one thing I'll bounce against you about is the spine issue. She would have broken so many bones previous with the many different falls and tumbles that she has taken in
that's
this
true.
movie. She
That's
would have
very
fractured
true.
so many things.
You're right. She's
been
kind of
paralyzed.
She's
Yeah.
supernatural. I mean, we see her like fall on her feet all the time. Like,
Yeah.
she's literally, descends, those vampire wife ladies. They dropped her probably 3 or 4 times in the movie. And, she stumbles a little bit. Then she lands on her feet off of a roof. Everything seems fine then. Why now? Good point.
Exactly.
And you kind of wonder, like, her character, I liked her. I liked Kate Beckinsale. She was a likable character. I didn't think she was necessarily a girl boss. She certainly wasn't annoying. I didn't think she was annoying at all. Other than her accent, I thought the accent was awful. Definitely took me out of it. I wish she would have just played with her own voice, because that did not work for me.
Well, I'm not an accent Transylvanian expert, but it seemed fine to me. It
It
didn't
seemed
bother me.
fake. I don't know.
One criticism that can be had is Hugh Jackman's accent or lack thereof. He's supposed to be Dutch. That's what Van Helsing hails from. Which is
I thought
similar
he sounded
to
great.
It's similar to German, a German accent. So
Okay.
Well,
all right,
all
Jackson, get off Hugh Jackman's nuts.
Thanks, Ty. Yeah, appreciate it. But yeah, I think her death for me, it was I thought it was a moving scene. I like when the funeral scene, not when she, unceremoniously, gosh, the bottles, Ty, the bottles. Sorry.
What's going on there, Ty?
Gosh, what is happening?
Are you
He's
checking to see if there's
tripping
anything left in them?
Yes.
Okay. See,
Oh my god.
I know what he's doing.
All right, stop touching the bottles. We're not gonna go that much longer. Oh, it's okay. So he is over 21, everyone. He is over 21. I know this for a fact. Just
Disclaimer.
to be clear, he's not that young. But gosh, I don't even remember where I was at this point. Yes, the ending. So
Yeah.
of course, Kate Beckinsale dies, and they have a nice little funeral. And I thought it was kind of a moving moment when I thought she would come back. You have her laying on this like hay bales, or she's on some surface where it's obviously pretty flammable. And it's the friar. He's saying some prayers. Hugh Jackman, he's totally distraught looking at her. And I really thought she was going to come back to life at this point, wake up for whatever reason. Did not happen. And she burned, ceremoniously. And Hugh Jackman, he's kind of following the smoke flames into the air, and he gazes off into the sunset, and he sees an opening. It looks like heaven's opening in the sky, and he sees her up there, and she's smiling down, looking at him, and she's reunited with her family, and you see her reconnect. For me, I liked that, Kyle. I thought it was sweet. It moved me a little bit. I'm not going to lie to you. I thought it was emotional.
Okay, well, it was the execution of how they did it. I appreciate the sentiment. It makes sense. It's the payoff for her family having this vow for generations that they would defeat Dracula. And that's set up at the beginning of the movie. By the way, Dracula is related to her ancestor, so they're related, by the way. If you didn't catch that, that is said very briefly. And Kate Beckinsale says, well, everybody knows that. No, what are you talking about? They just move on from it. So yeah, in the moment where she's reunited with her family, you see there are two different versions that they execute here, where you see them kind of half bodies of them in the clouds, but then there's this one moment where her giant head just appears, and I think a tear falls. it was that execution of you see her giant face looking down on Hugh Jackman. That was too much. If you wanted to, I think they needed to keep it as like a full body situation in the clouds. Okay, if you're going to go that, it's still cheesy, you know, but having her giant face and then there's nothing else. It was like Jor-El, you know, Marlon Brando in the ice cave, which was awkward unto itself in terms of effects, you know, back then. So it reminded me of that, and I don't think it worked. So I'm not praising this film totally. I think there are weaknesses to it, but overall, I still love Stephen Sommers.
Well, you know, you can analyze and critique any aspect of the movie, but the whole thing is just silly. So it all works as well as anything else in the movie works, because taken together, it's just ridiculous fun, like you guys were saying from the start.
And by the way, I do have to say, because I'm not going to get another chance, Alan Silvestri scored this film, and his theme to Van Helsing with the drums and the beats and it's very inspired by Coppola's Dracula film, the score in that one. The track is called Vampire Hunters, and it's very exciting. It's got some guitar playing in there, and orchestra, and a drum beat in there. You know, it's got it starts off with like a.
I didn't even notice.
It starts off with like a dun, 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 and you got to listen to it again then.
Yeah, I guess so.
Because the movie ends with that, as Van Helsing and the Friar are riding off into the sunset on horseback. And there's no teasing of a sequel, by the way, which is if this were made today, that's very different. And you can look at Tom Cruise's The Mummy to see that bullshit.
Good thing that didn't get a sequel.
So, yeah. The movie ended in that awkward way with that funeral sequence.
No, it was an awkward
kind
call.
of redeemed itself when Alan Silvestri's score came in and you know, left on a good note, literally.
Isn't it nice? Isn't it nice to see like that image though of her family and her in heaven? That's pretty nice. That's something we don't ever see. But you know, I'll admit, I do agree with you. The full face, that was silly. I think when we saw like a
disembodied
sort of
head just in the clouds. Come on.
Head.
Yeah.
Well, why did he only?
I liked
the Friar. Didn't he get a piece of all them?
That's a great point, Gen X Man. You should have had a cutaway to the Friar.
Well, he's a relatively holy guy. He should have had.
He should have seen
right.
that.
I'm going to play devil's advocate. I'm going to play devil's advocate real quick, because we get.
You mean Dracula's advocate? Ooh, how did you miss that, bro? Okay, go ahead.
You want to call it Dracula's advocate? That's fine. But at the very beginning of the movie, the whole reason why Van Helsing is going to Transylvania in the first place is he's trying to. His whole goal, the whole goal that he's given by the Vatican, is to destroy the Vampire King, so that this whole family that has been attempting to do the exact same thing and has failed, so that they can finally be released and
that's true.
Go to heaven.
Oh, that's a really good point.
And so I really felt like it was a really great visual at the very end of the movie, because the whole time he was really trying to release this family and giving them the peace that they really needed.
That's deep. Because didn't they say they were in purgatory or something?
Mm-hmm.
Correct. Right. You know, that's a great point that you bring up, man. That is actually a really great point. You know what?
Wow.
That movie, the movie in terms of the character motivation for Anna and the brothers should have emphasized that part of their motivation was to say in lines such as, "My family right now is in purgatory. They're stuck and they're waiting for me to accomplish the killing of Dracula, and I must do this, blah, blah, blah." They really don't talk about that, aside from the exposition scene in the Vatican.
But I really felt like that was a very important scene that really just got kind of thrown under the bus as the film went on.
Critic, I thought it was kind of cheesy until you made that point. Now I think it was a worthwhile way to end the movie.
Oh, I still feel the same way about how execution was off.
Of course.
But I'm saying your point about how they should have emphasized that plot line and that character motivation should have been there more so for Anna.
but
because
it did make it more
very
meaningful.
she's very more she's the emphasis on her character is talking about her brother, and that's pretty much it. And it's just you stick to the motivation of killing Dracula without talking about why, and that should have been the why more so.
Good point. Yeah, there's got to be more meaning to that. It didn't seem like, the dialogue did not suggest that there was a deep purpose for destroying him beyond his own evil schemes. But you're right.
He's just terrorizing the town. I mean, that's what it comes down to, right? We want to get rid of the terrorizing, figure in the town.
Yeah, let me get to the chat real quick. Thank you all for the fun chats. I like seeing what you guys are saying. Let's see, and then I have a few more questions for the panel. All right, let's see. Focused rage can seem like sanity and control. Yeah, I think. Hugh Jackman, whenever he's like rageful, I don't ever feel like he's out of control. And you're right, he didn't seem like he was out of control in this. You're also right. Plot armor ran out. Yeah, he used all his plot armor, so by the end it was like too late. Just forget it. Let's see, and then Mimikyu. Good to see you. I like Mimikyu the Pokemon, so very nice. Just thought of something. Dracula's life wasn't enough for his children to properly awaken, but his death was enough for the children to die. Dracula's life wasn't enough for his children to properly awaken, but his death was enough for the children. Yeah, that's weird.
Well, maybe he's because the children are
spawn.
They're dead already. See, that's the thing. They can't be born because they're already dead because Dracula and his wives are undead.
Yeah, he says, I know the born dead technicality, but still. Nice.
No, I think it's a clever plotline conceit that you have to have this surge of power that will awaken them. It begs the question in terms of why do these offsprings look more like creatures than human?
Yeah, they're not even like babies at all.
Yeah.
They're bats. They're literally like alien bats.
I think it could have been more interesting if those babies actually look more humanoid.
Yeah, I thought that was strange. I was kind of glad they were more like monsters, though.
Maybe they just evolve or something, but it really just felt like, exactly, like just an evolution. Like they slowly evolve, but it really just felt like they were just these like amalgamations of the bat and the human, and it was just
they were lame. They were lame.
They were
the lamest monster.
They were the white bat from Ace Ventura when nature calls.
I lost track of why did he want all of these children awaken? What was his point? Just to take over the world or something? Or what was their meaning?
Yeah, what was the point of the stupid things? I mean, they're pretty brainless. I mean, are they going to turn into adults? I imagine they turn into like normal vampires because he wants an extended life. So I think that's like the baby form, and then they'll turn into the humans. Or maybe like demons or something like that we haven't seen. But yeah, I mean, the whole purpose of them like having Frankenstein as part of the equation was so they had an extended life, which is so strange that he's, for whatever reason, vital to that being the case. Megan the Texan, speaking of Frankenstein, I haven't seen the movie in a while, but I remember Frankenstein's monster being pretty philosophical and in-depth character. I enjoyed his character. I enjoyed him enough too. I thought he was fun enough, and I thought he looked great. I loved his design. I have a good picture here. Let me pull it up. I thought he looked awesome. I don't know what to think of like the electricity coming out of his head, because the back of his head is sort of like a, I don't know, some sort of cell with electricity in it. Looked a little silly, but I thought he was awesome. His visuals, at least. Let's see. I like it, Megan. She says, I love the scene in the ballroom. Let's talk about our least favorite scenes in the whole movie. That was my least favorite scene. I detest the ballroom scene when you have Kate Beckinsale. She is captured by Dracula, and his wives are like kind of like dancing all over him, and they're all over him. I'm pretty sure this happens in that scene. Or no. They do something. Different. They do something like this in that scene, though, and then he's all over Kate Beckinsale. I did not understand.
Who wouldn't be?
Well, you know what? He does like the ladies. I mean, he's got these two right here. But I don't know why you love this scene, Megan. If you're still here, tell me why, because I'm curious. Because that was my least favorite. I thought it was also silly because in that sequence, Hugh Jackman and the Friar, they kind of go undercover, and it's sort of like it was almost like a Renaissance festival in there, and everybody was wearing like silly outfits with funny masks and such, and it was like period outfits. And what is it like an old ballroom, right, where you wear a mask? It's sort of like you meet a guy or something, girl, and I don't know.
It's a masquerade.
Masquerade, that's the word. Thank you. But yeah, you have Hugh Jackman and the Friar dressed up in these ridiculous outfits, and they are literally swinging on these
trapeze.
Yes,
trapeze.
Bruh. Why? Hugh Jackman cannot make that look cool. All right, that's where it fell apart.
The effects in this scene do not look great. The swinging on those wires and the handle and him switching from one to another, and then it doesn't look great.
Totally ridiculous, man.
But the one moment that does look cool is because you've established that there are crowds of people in this ballroom, and she is dancing with Dracula. The camera pans as they're dancing, and you see this giant mirror, and she's the only one that's visible.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Where did all those vampires come from?
Yeah, that was strange.
Was it like a nearby village or something?
They all show up in the ballroom, and then you never see them again. They're not a threat. That'd be a pretty big threat, all those vampire people.
It's an army.
The only group of people that we see throughout the entire film until the very last part is the town folk.
Yeah, the dirty villagers.
And the minions. Evil minions.
The minions,
if you want to call
those
people.
But the townsfolk are absolutely terrified. Like, we see in the opening scene, like, they want to kill Frankenstein and Dr. Frankenstein. Like, these people are terrified of this stuff. But then we go in a little bit deeper, and we see the who was that guy? He was like the graveyard. Like, was he the
the gravedigger?
The gravedigger. He like tries to like knock him out. You know, like it really kind of feels like there's maybe a lot more of a deeper story going into this than we really saw in the like opening act in the first couple of scenes.
Did you guys have like a sequence or a scene that really turned you off in this movie?
The whole bow and arrow scene with the flying witches.
You hated it that much?
I mean, I didn't hate it. It's just my least favorite is boring. You're just firing the bow and arrow, and he was bound to hit them like once or twice, but he's missing every.
He was hitting them, but it wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, well, he was kind of spamming it at one point. And just I don't know. They just really bugged me. This flying Dementor thingies. So, it's my least favorite.
You guys, Gen X man, you got to pick.
That's a tough one. I do remember getting up from my viewing experience to go do something in the kitchen, and I was waiting for that scene to be over, whatever it was. I think it was just sort of their adventure of running around and trying to find Dracula's hideout or something. And
it was a little long.
Yeah, exactly. And I needed a break, and that was a good time to take a break.
Yeah, it got a little tiresome. Like 2/3 of the way through the movie, I started to lose a little interest, but I was still there. But yeah, I feel that. Kyle, do you have a particular scene that bothers you, like more than anything else? What? Oh wait, is it the ending, the funeral?
No, I have more.
Oh, you have more. Share.
Okay, so a very awkward moment is when their objective is to raid this mansion at one point. I think Dracula, it's when he is about to put her brother up into the rafters to use his body to see if he can give life to his children. And they're outside, and just complete non sequitur. She just stares off into the distance and says, "I've never been to the ocean."
Oh no, I remember this.
I bet it's beautiful.
Oh.
And Hugh Jackman he even acknowledges, like, what the hell? But then, yeah. He actually just came from a ship, But the most absurd moment is when there's this carriage chase sequence, which overall is pretty well done. But it's when this bridge is out over this crevasse, and the carriage is being pulled by three rows of horses, 2 in one row. So 6 horses, and I don't know how, but this carriage is able to, and the horses jump over this just destroyed bridge, and they turn into Santa's sleigh with the reindeer. That was the most absurd, just over the top moment that crossed the line for me. Look, this is the thing. This is an example of a moment where you have to explain moments. If they implemented some kind of magical solution as to why those horses were able to achieve that jump, okay, or some kind of surge of energy, maybe they utilized Frankenstein's monster to do something,
Well, and they didn't
just
even need
spitballing something. It can't just come out of nowhere where these 6 horses are able to fly.
Yeah, they're literally normal horses.
Yes.
And they made the jump. They didn't quite complete it, right? So what was the point in them completing the jump at all? Because that carriage still was like hanging right on the edge of it or something. They could have had the horses go over and the carriage is hanging.
Hugh Jackman was he was on the horses when that happened. So they needed to make it, they had to have a reason for him to get across the bridge, right?
Oh, is that what it was? He had to get across the bridge. Is that
that's all that happened because Frankenstein and the friar weren't in the back. He was the only one that vaulted over the destroyed bridge.
It reminded me of Santa's reindeer.
Yeah, right.
There you go.
That's not okay. Those aren't too bad.
That is pretty funny though.
Yeah, well, that's for me that is. And the positive thing that that none of you guys mentioned, which came out of, it was surprising to me, even though I've seen the film multiple times, but it's been many years, is when Anna stops Van Helsing from shooting her brother, who's a werewolf now, and he grabs her throat and pushes her up against a wall. And I thought that was pretty ballsy for the film to commit to.
Well, he also does the sleeping agent too.
Yeah, which, by the way, so behind the scenes thing that I think it was in the commentary. That moment where he shoots her with a like a dust that puts her to sleep. The original way that she fell asleep, became unconscious, was he punched her.
Oh.
And test screening audiences gave notes about that, and Stephen Sommers changed it.
Oh, that's
this
too bad.
guy's this guy's crazy, man. This guy's crazy.
Yeah. So,
but the test audiences approved of the horse jump, apparently.
Thank you. That's great. But yeah, even all that being said, Stephen Sommers still love the guy.
Logic here,
man.
Yeah. He even had the balls to punch the heroine of the movie. That's just fantastic.
Let's get back to one of Megan's questions earlier, because it's a good question. What was your what do you think was the best monster in the whole film? Because we had, let's see, we had the weird piranha minions that were Dracula's like little minion people, like his orcs. We had the vampire wives, we had the vampires, we had Dracula, we had Mr. Hyde, we had werewolves. I don't think I'm missing anything else.
No, definitely Mr. Hyde.
Yeah, Mr. Hyde for you.
I would agree with that as well, and part of it is the performance that Robbie Coltrane gives in the voice. Robbie Coltrane portrayed the Harry Potter character, the bushy-haired one, Hagrid.
Hagrid, yeah.
That is the voice of Mr. Hyde.
Oh, that's
cool. Do you know
it's
what
Mr. Hyde? No.
I think that the character Mr. Hyde in this movie, especially because we saw him so early in the movie, like in one of the opening scenes, it really set a really good precedent.
Yeah.
For what we were going to see in the future. And I really think that honestly, the character design and the villain design, it really kind of deteriorated.
Yeah.
After this first scene, like this is such a great iteration and such a great opening. Like it really captured my interest. Like I remember we were watching this like tonight, like this evening, and I was on my phone and I heard Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. I was totally locked in. My phone was like off my lap. I was not paying attention to it whatsoever. And it was just like, it was amazing.
Yeah,
It was
he sucked you right in.
Yeah, it really sucked me in.
Well, he's a real character too. I think the rest of the monsters are not characters enough.
Yeah.
They really aren't.
He has
I think there was more.
personality.
Yeah, I think there was more character in him than there was Dracula the whole time.
Oh yeah, 100%.
He was taunting, and part of the reason I really enjoyed this scene is because I'm a huge fan of Beowulf, and he, the whole scene with Grendel, and that shady, dark scene they were fighting in. It really showed. Like I liked how Hugh Jackman and Beowulf really resembled that courageous, brave and strong and smart character trait, fighting that giant and using the fight moves against. Wait, what's his name, Mr. Hyde?
Yeah.
But he was using his size against him.
Yeah, true.
And
yeah, I mean, he was
that's what
clever
did.
maneuvering around him.
And he cut.
Wait, so
his
Hugh
arm off,
Jackman
right?
was in was in a Beowulf film?
No, sorry. I'm comparing those two.
He's
characters.
just comparing.
Okay.
Mhm.
I haven't
Beowulf.
seen Beowulf. I
And
don't
did they
know
cut
anything
Mr.
about him.
Hyde's arm off?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, they cut Grendel's arm off. Beowulf cut Grendel's
Oh,
arm off. So
nice. You're a smart cookie. Cool.
just love Beowulf, man.
Nice.
Don't be a jackass.
Oh, my bad. It's a little fun sometimes. We love Luke here.
Except for when I spoil the whole plot of Fantastic Four.
Was
great
Kyle
moment.
there for that?
Yeah, Kyle,
was there.
yeah. Ty, don't feel bad about anything you do.
Oh
Okay,
my
these
gosh.
two let me spoil.
I'm gonna be completely honest. I still haven't seen it.
Oh, wait, what? Fantastic Four?
Yeah, okay, that's
Yeah.
a good one.
Oh, you're fine. You're not.
I have
missing
not
it.
You
seen
can
it.
just go and listen to Luke's speech
Yeah.
about the entire
I'm
rest
not
of the
gonna
movie
listen
in
to
the
Luke's
end. Yeah.
speech because
And
he just shit on it the entire
then-
time.
Oh, my
And then
gosh.
Sue Storm throws him into the portal, and that's
Yeah.
that's the overview of the movie.
Oh,
Anyways.
my gosh. That is
Yeah.
so funny.
Anyways,
Oh, good. Here, let's get to some of these chats real quick before we finish up for today.
fuck you, Luke.
Peak moment.
Luke. Yeah, that was so bad when you did that, man. I remember.
Well, you guys-
still-
you
were
guys just
spoiling-
listened,
We were
too.
we wanted you, Luke. We gave you the chance to give a synopsis for the movie ranking. It's supposed to be getting the audience excited for the film, not ruining the movie.
Yeah, you guys the whole 9 yards.
Once you got into it, you just finish the story.
Yeah, hey, man.
Start
Okay.
to finish, might as well. You didn't
He
even
had
know
to
what
do
you were
it,
doing.
you know? We believe in self-reliance, and you went on down that road on your own, bro.
Oh, man.
Sometimes you accidentally do that, where you just you just.
I got
spill
excited.
all
Okay, I got
I
excited.
get that.
Yeah, I'm gonna say.
Oh my gosh, that was so good. Okay,
Oh yeah,
let's see here.
Zippy, you're funny.
Yeah.
Oh, we have a strange member in the chat here. Delos9561. Hey, box office brawler, are you taken? Because I can't stop looking at your handsome face.
Delos,
Ooh,
how dare
Delos,
you
you
cheat on
behave.
me?
You behave, you
Mm.
boy.
Don't cheat
You
on me
behave.
now, Delos.
Yeah, you're supposed to be with Ty. All right, let's get to some more related comments here. Zippy is commenting on the weird vampire babies. I do feel Dracula's Spawn were monsters bred to drain the world of life to give that life to Dracula. But Magic 8-Ball MacGuffin is whatever you can make up to fill in the blanks. Yeah, I like the way you put that. They give him essence to live. But he seemed like he was living just fine without them.
Yeah.
So
I wonder about that. What
He
does
seems
that
young
mean?
and prosper.
Maybe just more joy instead of the I feel nothing.
Product file. This is interesting. Probably wouldn't be able to keep the PG-13 rating if the newborn babies looked like human babies. That's a weird. I don't know about that, bro. Maybe
No, I responded to that, but it's like body horror, especially
body horror. If they were amputated or something.
it's not appreciated by many studios. They don't really like that kind of stuff.
Let's see here. Thralls are thralls. I think you're talking about thralls are servants or someone being manipulated. Are you talking about the babies being called thralls? Huh, that's weird. If that's an actual legitimate term, that's interesting. Huh. Cool. Great. All right. Yeah, why did the Jackman cross the road? Good question. I need
he
more
answer?
Hugh Jackman. Oh wait, let's see. No, he didn't.
Okay.
That's sad. All right,
That's
cool.
anticlimactic.
Yeah, that is it. Sorry, guys. There wasn't one final comment to really send this home. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Enjoyed it with us. I think we all recommend Van Helsing. Is that correct? Are we all giving a thumbs up? What are our ratings? Give us quick number.
Yes.
What are we giving it? Final score, guys.
Okay.
What are you thinking?
I give it a 7.
A 7.
7 out of 10.
There we go.
It's a really
7.5.
good watch.
I'm
I think
thinking
it's
7.5.
worth. I think it's worth watching if you haven't seen it before. I think the character design and the villain design in this movie is it's really good, especially for being 2004, which was the year that I was born. So
Wow.
that even adds a little bit more of a W thumbs up for me.
You are this movie. Good. So,
Mhm.
all right, 7.5. I'm giving it a 7.5 too. I had a lot of fun watching this. Yeah, you can't take it too seriously. I think it's 7.5 based off entertainment, right? This is just entertaining, start to finish. It does like drag a little bit towards the end where it's like, okay, it's a longer movie. I think I read that it was 2 hours and 17 minutes long.
Yeah.
2 hours.
That's
2
a
hours and
long
11.
time. This
2
would
hours
have
and 11 minutes. Yeah,
11 minutes. Yeah, it would have.
especially for the content of this movie. I felt like it felt longer than it really was.
It could have been an hour and 40 minutes. I think it goes quick, but at the same time, maybe cut it down a bit. But at the end of the day, it was so much fun, really enjoyable. Kyle, are you recommending this? You telling people to watch it?
I
Big
would,
fan.
and I do. I think I would agree with everyone else here that it's around a 7, and I think it's building in terms of it being a cult classic. It's kind of weird to say cult classic because this is a $160 million budgeted movie, not counting marketing costs. But over time, I think it's getting a little bit more love, and I feel good about that because Stephen Sommers is still awesome. So
Yeah, hopefully we see some more of his work.
I
But yeah,
do want to see him come back.
we
I
need
was
him
trying
back.
to think of like a way to quickly summarize the movie, and I'm going to borrow words you guys said along the way. It's a big budget B movie for teens. I think that's the target audience.
Yeah, it doesn't challenge in terms of anything deep and really,
I'm fine
any
with that.
tragedy or something
Right.
that's traumatic.
That's
it's
fine.
yeah,
No
yeah.
problem.
It would have been
Every movie has to be perfection. I mean,
No.
at the end of the day, like we've seen so many like B tier movies that have still been so influential, and it's just like at the end of the day, it's just fun.
Yes. And I
that's-
really
that's-
appreciate
that's
this
the point of
conversation.
movies.
It's entirely. It feels very different from when we last spoke, Gen X-Men, when you were on here and I was on here talking about Godfather 3. I noticed earlier in the comments you mentioned how this is the first time you heard me laugh. So there you go.
Whoa.
That's an example
Whoa.
of the different type of conversation we're having, and it's all because this is a different type of
We
movie.
need more of that.
Beautiful.
Gen X Man is a man of the chat, Kyle. You got to understand that. Man of
Love
the
that.
chat. He feeds the chat.
X-Men.
Yes, yeah.
Very
but
much does.
thank you to my wonderful panel. It's a real pleasure having you all on. Everybody, please be sure to check out their channels and sub. It's a little thing you can do to help them out, help out with their goals, and check out their content. And Particular Critic, he's brand new on here. Give him a sub, check out his stuff. Gen X Man's yet to post anything, but Kyle, of course, a seasoned veteran of YouTube. Please check out his channel. Always fun having him on regularly. And Gally Dashardo, if you want
Give me to 100. Give me to
Get him
100.
to
Let's go.
100.
Get them to
Everybody.
100.
Get
Yeah.
him to 100. Watch him
Been
play
80
games.
Been at 89 for the last 10
Watch him
years.
eat. Watch him
Challenge
eat.
accepted.
Watch him eat. That's right.
That's a whole another panel.
Yes, sir. All right,
Okay,
great.
my
But
bad, my bad.
at the end of the day, thank you all for watching. We really appreciate you guys. If you enjoyed what we had to say today, please make sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to Box Office Brawler as well. And we'll see you guys next Tuesday. We're going to be talking about Predator next Tuesday
Predator.
with Random
Wow.
Film Talk. Kyle, me, Random Film Talk, and I believe Scottish Geek Guy all the way from Scotland. He's going to be joining us. So it's going to be pretty fun. We'll see you guys there.
Cheers.
What kind of person are you? Are you the kind that sees signs, sees miracles? Or do you believe that people just get lucky?